What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody, back again with another video, and oh my lord, folks, man, this week ended on a high note. That's right, and if you're wondering what your boy Doody is talking about, well, our boy Phil fell for the trap. That's right, your boy Doody laid the bait out, and Phil, of course, like the dummy he is, fell for the trap. And you're wondering, well, what trap exactly? What trap? What's going on, Doody? Well, during Phil's day off, I decided that I wanted to address a video segment on his podcast that he had on Wednesday, where he kept perpetuating this lie about ad revenue and how ad revenue is a pittance and he doesn't make any money on ad revenue and no one makes money on ad revenue. And I wanted to disprove that. I wanted to show that what Phil is saying is, of course, a lie. And what he's doing is he's continuing this grift. That's what it is. It's a grift where he wants his viewers to believe that ad revenue is nowhere near close to what it was previously. And even if he had, a million or two, 1 or 2 million views, that even with that, he still couldn't make a living off of ad revenue. And that's just a lie. It is. You have hundreds of thousands of YouTubers who live off of ad revenue, and they do pretty well. Big content creators that create not as much content as Phil. They may do a video a week, maybe 1 or 2 videos a month, and they get huge views because their content, 1, is interesting, unlike Phil's. 2, it's the production quality is really good. I'll give you one example, like Turkey Tom. If you ever watch Turkey Tom's video, they're pretty well done. They're well done, and you can tell that he actually puts the research and he puts the time into creating a good document. And he's not producing content every time, but of course, if you look at his analytics at the end of the month, he's pulling in several million views, and he's living off of ad revenue, right? And I mean, he's not the huge channel, but he has a decent following, and he puts the time and the effort into his content, unlike Phil. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show Phil, well, look, Phil, here's a content creator myself who is a very small channel, and I managed to make a pretty nice chunk of change every month out of ad revenue. And why? Is it the quality of my videos? Well, no, I'm a detractor. I make DSP content, which is not that interesting. But my commentary, the way I edit things, my thumbnails, the way I engage with my chat, people want to digest the stupidity of DSP, not DSP himself, just kind of his stupidity. So that's why people come out and watch my content, Phil. Yes, most of it is about you. I've never said it wasn't. I've never said it was. But again, Phil, since you prioritize begging and streaming for 6-7 hours a day, versus streaming less and putting effort into your videos, right? You get less views. You're counting on super chats and ad revenue. When if you did the opposite, if you actually cut back on one of your streams, like let's say you streamed once a day, right? You stream once a day, and then the other half of your day you spent editing your content, making clips, cleaning up your streams and making them more digestible, putting proper thumbnails, putting descriptions and titles in your streams. If you did that, right? If you focus maybe a little bit more on drama content, which I know you claim you hate, but apparently now you're just this huge, drama creator. If you put the focus on that, Phil, then yeah, you're only getting half of my views. You're getting what, 550,000 views? Well, let's be honest, 538,000 views on DSP Gaming. You would get more views, because your content would be, the quality of your content would be better, right? So the point of me showing this ad revenue is to say, look, Phil, if you were to put a little bit of extra work into your content and stream less and beg less, you can get more views, aka more ad revenue. My point of this stream was, my point of this video wasn't to tell Phil you shouldn't receive super chats or memberships or any of that. It wasn't that at all. The point of my video here is to say, if you put some more effort into your streams and what you upload, you would get more views, aka more ad revenue. How many times has Phil said he doesn't care about views? He doesn't want to be Mr. Views. Views don't count. Views don't matter because he is a crowdfunded content creator, right? That's Phil's very own word from his mouth, right? So he doesn't care about views. That's why he puts the slop that he does on his streams, unedited content, hour long, and he just throws it in there. No proper thumbnails, no descriptions, no chapter breaks, nothing, right? And then you wonder why he gets 200 to 300 views. What I'm saying here, Phil, is that if you cut back on your streaming and you focus more time on your editing, or you actually paid someone to edit your content, right? You would get more views, aka more ad revenue. That would be the end result. And I know Phil might say, well, no, views don't equate to ad revenue. Yes, it does. It does. Because if your video gets more ads or more views, that means it's going to be recommended more. It's going to be in the algorithm. It's going to be in the search feature. It's going to show up in the feature page, which means more people watch it, which means more people engage with it, which means more people watch the content, aka watch more ads. That's the whole point, Phil. The whole point is to have more eyes on it, more views, so that more people can get ads. And the more views a video gets, the more ads you get, Phil. That's how it works. Yes, Phil, that's how it works. And I know he belittled me for my hashtags and all that. Yes, Phil, I'm using the YouTube search and algorithm feature to tag my content so that it can be available to a wider audience. What's wrong with that? Are you going to say that that's immoral to do now? That's akin to dyeing my hair blue and screaming in the mic? Is that what you're going to say? Is that equivalent to LED lights? Is that what you're saying, Phil? No, I used a tool that's available on YouTube to make my content readily available, which you don't do. And I'm pretty sure after this little wake-up call, you're going to start doing it yourself. You're going to start adding hashtag DSP, hashtag DSP gaming to try to bump me out of the algorithm, which isn't going to work, Phil. Okay. So, yeah, he spent, 15 minutes ranting and raving about my ad revenue and how I fell for his trap. No, Phil. You fell for my trap. I baited you into a 15-minute segment about me, Phil. Little old me, a 19,000 sub content creator. You took 15 minutes of your hour-and-a-half podcast, spent it talking about me. I can't buy that kind of advertisement, Phil. Because as much of as a washed-up streamer you are, you still have some reach. People still come and watch you, even if they still hate watch you. They still watch you, and they give you some attention. And what are they going to do? They're going to flood to my channel to see my videos, my content. Hey, today alone I think I ended up getting maybe 150 extra subs today, out of nowhere. My view count out the roof. I think I doubled my view count for the day. I got a bunch of super thanks out of nowhere. And again, I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't have to beg for anything, Phil. All I did was simply put my content out there. You decided to fall for the trap. I planted the bait. You fell for the trap. And what's happening? I'm benefiting. That's right. And I know that's going to even bother you more, Phil. So you're making it seem like, oh my God, Doody made the stupid move. He felted himself by displaying his analytics. Yes, Phil, that was the point. The point was to show my analytics, to be open and transparent, to show you, hey, Phil, I'm a content creator with 19,000 views who detracts on DSP gaming, and yet I managed to double your view count and make this amount of money. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do that? And the other thing that I baited you into, Phil, yes, another trap, was I got you to admit your ad revenue. Remember that, Phil? You didn't catch yourself doing that. You finally admitted what your ad revenue is. And you actually said, yes, my ad revenue is half of what Doody's getting. I got half of his views. So yeah, essentially I got half of what Doody got. So Phil essentially got $2,500 in July for ad revenue. 2,500 bucks. So again, Phil, I laid the bait out. I laid the trap, and you fell for it like an idiot. You did. So lesson one, Phil, is be careful with the traps that people lay. You may think you're one-upping someone, or you may think you have the leg up. You don't, Phil. You have to remember who you're dealing with here, Phil. You're dealing with a detractor. That's the key word, Phil. You're dealing with a detractor, right? Okay, that's your first lesson, Phil. Your first lesson is you shouldn't be careful falling for traps because they're out there. Just like the Kino Casino folks have a trap laid out for you, just like Medicare had a trap laid for you, just like Mudahar, just like even the guy from the the Kiwi Farms website. They all have traps laid out for you, and they're just waiting for you to bite. That's what they're doing. And you never learn your lesson at all. You don't. Anyway, so that's lesson one. Lesson two out of this is actually this is the golden rule, Phil, when it comes to streamers. If you're streaming content on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, whatever, the first rule for streamers is never give your detractors any attention. Never, Phil. And again, you're hearing this from one of your detractors who enjoys your content and enjoys taking your content and making good content out of it and mocking you. You don't give your detractors any ammo. You don't acknowledge them. Because what you did today was you just set off a firestorm. Twitter was crazy today. The forums were crazy. The Discords were crazy. My channel was crazy. Because you decided to give me a platform for 15 minutes. And why? Because you thought you were owning the detractors. You were owning your trolls. And you weren't, Phil. You came off unhinged. Because what people see is they're saying, why are you reacting this way, in this manner, to a content creator, a detractor who has 19,000 subs? What's wrong with you, Phil? Why do you look so unhinged? That's how it comes off, Phil. Okay? Your little minions in there, your little Kino minions that are pumping your ego up, yeah, they love it. Because again, they love drama. And you're just too stupid to realize that. Okay, so I've given you two lessons, Phil. I figure the one lesson is, Phil, be careful with traps, because they're all over the place. The second lesson is you shouldn't acknowledge detractors. Never. Even if you think you own them, you shouldn't. You know why? Because you know who acknowledges detractors? Locals. Wings of Redemption. Boogie2988. Review Tech USA. Cyrax. Foodie Beauty. All of these locals, their biggest downfall was that they address and were obsessed with their detractors. And that's what you're doing here, Phil. You're becoming obsessed with your detractors. And what happens is eventually the people that even support you will start looking at you as unhinged. And they'll keep saying, why are you talking about detractors? Ignore them. Haven't you spent 7 years telling us to ignore detractors? Don't you have rules in the chat that no one can talk about detractors, bring up detractor memes or whatever? Right, Phil? And that's what's going to happen. Then you're going to have more people turning on you. So, again, Phil, I'm not the bad guy. I'm giving you free sound advice that no detractor would give someone like you. But I'm giving you advice. Will you take it? No, because you think I'm a detractor and I'm a mouth drooler and I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm doing. Right here, Phil, I laid a trap for you and you fell for it. You fell for it. And thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I do appreciate that you actually, acknowledged me and did this solid for me. Now here, of course you're gonna mock everything, and I put out an 18-minute video the other day, and I gave some really good details. Like I was open, I was honest. I showed my analytics. I compared it to I compared it to Phil's analytics, and I said, look, if you work a little bit harder and you focus on better quality content, you can make more views, aka make more ad revenue, and you can make a living on ads. He didn't take it as that. He took it as an opportunity to start mocking me and saying, well, I only make half your views, so I have to live off of tips and super chat. So I have to beg. That's essentially what Phil said. He has to beg. He's compelled to beg because of his view count. And then, he went on a tirade about, oh, you've filtered yourself because you exposed your analytics, so now everyone knows what Doody makes. And now, Doody, you can't have the moral high ground. That was Phil's argument. That was his main point, was that Doody and detractors can't have the moral high ground because they're making money off of me. That's what Phil is saying. Well, Phil, I've never said that I never made money off of you. You know my content been monetized. I talk about it all the time. I mention it. I make ad revenue. Yes, that's my biggest source of income is ad revenue. And there's no secret there, Phil. The one thing I don't do is I don't go around begging people. I don't beg my viewers for money. I don't beg them for views or likes or watch my ads like you do. No, I don't do any of that, Phil. So again, you're trying to hold this position that everything I say disqualifies what I have to say because I'm monetized, which is ridiculous. I could say the same thing about you. Everything you're saying should be discarded or not listened to because you have a monetary stake in this. Me not detracting on you would help you out monetarily, right, Phil? So I can use that same argument with you, Phil. It's a stupid circular argument that doesn't work. Okay. Now that we got that over with, and he failed yet again to address the whole of my video, just like he did with the PayPal video, where he doesn't address the issue, he just mocks it. And of course he won't show it or talk to his viewers, because if his viewers actually looked at my content, they would say, yeah, that makes sense, Phil. Why are you not living off of ad revenue? What's going on? But of course he didn't do that. He wanted to mock me and try to say that, well, everything Doody says is invalid because he monetizes. He has a vested interest, a monetary interest. So he must demonetize all his content. That's what Phil said. Okay, this brings me up to the last point of my response to Phil here. The last point I'm going to make is, okay, you laid out a challenge for me. Demonetize all my content. Okay, I am more than willing to accept that challenge on the condition of one thing. Just one thing, Phil. I will monetize my past, my current, and my future content related to DSP. I will demonetize if you agree to stop begging. No begging for super chats, no begging for views, no begging for engagement, no begging for tips, no begging at all, Phil. I don't care what it is. You don't beg. You put your content out, you apply ads, and if people want to tip and super chat you, okay, that's fine. If people want to give memberships, that's fine. But I don't want you uttering the word, please give me. I don't want you begging. If you're willing to do that, Phil, if you're willing to say, okay, Doody, I'm not going to beg anymore, then I will agree to your offer and no longer monetize my content. So there you go, Phil. I heard your offer. That's my offer. Yes, I am willing to demonetize my content if you agree to no longer beg. Don't beg. If you do that, then yeah, I will keep my promise and demonetize my entire channel as it relates to DSP. So maybe he'll talk about this tomorrow. Maybe he'll bring it up in his content. And of course, what he'll end up doing is not playing this video. And he'll try to, what does he do? Paraphrase it in a way that, simply just meets his narrative. But I recommend if anyone wants to come and listen to my side and listen to the truth, go ahead and watch this video. And then if you want, I actually still have my ad revenue video out there where I talk about the my analytics compared to Phil, and you can hear my actual argument to Phil. that he's lying when he says you can't make money or you can't make a decent living when it comes to ad revenue. And what he's saying isn't true. And he even admitted that too. He said what I said is actually right, but he had an excuse. And he tried to claim because he has so many little views that he really doesn't make that much ad revenue. Again, Phil, that isn't YouTube's fault. That isn't ad revenue's fault. That's your fault for not putting out quality content, curated content, making it digestible, editing your content, and making it something that people like to watch. So again, that's your fault. Anyway, that's my response, folks. Let's see if I want to hear if Phil is willing to accept my challenge, okay? I will no longer monetize my content if you agree to no longer beg, okay? Let me know, Phil. Ball is in your corner. By the way, I made a similar video on Twitter, and Phil probably watched it. Let me know. Reach out to me. You can DM me if you want, Phil. Or if not, just drop a comment. You're not banned on my channel. Unlike you, you have me banned on Twitter and YouTube. I don't have you banned either place. You can reach out to me, pimp. Peace out.